Chidiogo was broken. For several days, she would lock herself up in her room, just crying and weeping profusely. She would not even remember to eat sometimes. Her friend Chikata, who had been calling her for several days, but got no response, decided to call her mother Nne. Hello, Ma. I think your daughter Chidiogo might be in trouble. Since I told her that her boyfriend Ebuka got married to someone else, I have not been able to reach her. I'm very scared that she might hurt herself, Chikata said, looking very worried. Hey God, so that stupid boy Ebuka finally dumped my daughter. Did I not tell Chidiogo all this while that Ebuka did not love her? That he was simply using her? Did she listen to me? No. Anyway, no time for apportioning blames. Where's my daughter? I need to find her. Thank you, Chikata, for bringing this to my knowledge. Nne, Chidiogo's mother, replied. So a few days later, Nne was able to trace her daughter Chidiogo. When Nne set her eyes on her daughter, tears welled up in her eyes and she began to cry. Chidiogo was looking so sad and tattered, as if she had not taken her bath in weeks. You could literally see that she had been crying non-stop. Oh, Adam, Mama, it's okay, my love, it's okay, Nne said as she gathered her daughter in her arms. And at that point, Chidiogo broke down in her mother's arms. Mommy, I should have listened to you. If I did, I would not be in this condition now. Chidiogo wept bitterly. It's okay. Ibuka was a fool. He was the one who promised to marry you and reneged on his word. It's okay, my love, Nne said to Chidiogo as she comforted her daughter. So Nne took Chidiogo back to her home so she could care for her daughter and nurse her back to good health. For the next 6 months, despite all her mother's encouragement, Chidiogo was always sad and moody. She did not think she would ever come out of this heartbreak. Chidiogo never went out of the house. She just stayed at home all day, pressing her phone and stalking Ebuka and his sisters. From what she could see on social media, it seemed like Ebuka was having a good life in Canada. She could see his pictures and his life seemed to be perfect. She was also busy stalking his sisters, Amara and Ada, and their life seemed very perfect as well. Even Ebuka's mother looked very healthy and happy too. She was always at one event or the other, having fun and enjoying Chidiogo's kidney. Chidiogo was always sad. Nne, her mother, was very worried because it was 6 months since she brought her daughter home to care for her, yet she was still broken. So Nne decided to enroll her daughter to see a therapist to see if she could get better. So Chidiogo began to go for therapy. She went for about 5 months and she began to get better. She was gradually changing back to the bubbly and happy Chidiogo that everyone knew. She started focusing on herself and even started taking courses and even started applying for jobs. And soon enough, she got a job at a big oil and gas firm. Chidiogo was very happy. Her life was literally going well and she was once again excited. Chidiogo by this time had completely moved on from Ebuka and his family. She no longer stalked them, she had genuinely let go. Then a few months later, Chidiogo met a handsome Yoruba prince. It was literally love at first sight for Ade. Ade fell head over heels in love with Chidiogo. He asked Chidiogo out for many weeks, but Chidiogo refused him. She had been scarred and saw all men as evil. She just wanted to live and enjoy a quiet and peaceable life without a man in the picture. But Ade was persistent. He would show up with flowers and gifts and called her non-stop over the phone every single day, to tell her how much she meant to him. Ade did this for 6 whole months before Chidiogo agreed to go out on a first date with him. And from then on, they began to hang out more frequently. And exactly 1 month after that, Ade asked Chidiogo to be his girlfriend. Chidiogo was very excited and accepted it. She loved Ade. He was a very good man and was humble too, despite how rich he was. He did not behave proudly as most royals do, and he was also a confirmed lover boy. Chidiogo had already zeroed her mind. She did not know if Ade was going to ever ask her to be his wife. She did not even want to think about it. Instead, she just wanted to enjoy her relationship in peace, regardless of where it was headed. This time, she did not even try to be a wife material like she did with Ebuka. Rather, she carried herself like a princess and allowed Ade to love and pursue her like a man would. Chidiogo told Ade all her experience with Ebuka, her ex, and how she had even given Ebuka's mother a kidney. But Ade did not mind. He still loved her. He looked at her straight in the eyes and said, "Babe, if your kidney ever fails, I will get you 2 more kidneys." Ade said endearingly. And this made Chidiogo's heart melt with love. And to her surprise, barely 2 weeks after she started officially dating Ade proposed to her. He told her that he wanted to marry her. Chidiogo was shocked as tears streamed down her eyes. She accepted his proposal instantly. And exactly 3 weeks from that day, Ade and Chidiogo both got married. They both got married in a very lavish wedding ceremony. As a matter of fact, their wedding was so big that politicians and the elites in Nigeria were all in attendance. Chidiogo was so happy. And after their wedding, Ade took Chidiogo to Dubai for their honeymoon. Chidiogo was so excited. A few weeks later, and they were back from their honeymoon. Chidiogo sat in her room one day thinking aloud, "Ah God, is this how you restore someone? See me now, see the kind of man that you have brought my way. All these years, I was busy slaving away and begging Ebuka to marry me for nearly 10 years. I even gave his silly mother my kidney. Yet even marriage proposal or at least a Boki ring I did not get. Ah, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for removing Ebuka from my life. See how my husband Ade, Olowo Orimi, Eledami, my crown, asked me out, engaged me, and married me in less than 3 months. Ah, truly, now I understand the saying that person will love you, no go stress you. Meaning that the person that loves you will not stress you. Chidiogo thought aloud to herself in gratitude. So in the days that followed, Chidiogo was very happy. She was a spoilt wife. Her husband pampered her silly. He would get her breakfast in bed and would even sing and perform for her. He did anything and everything to put a smile on her face. Ade gave her so much money that she did not even know what to do with it again. Chidiogo was very happy. And barely 6 months later, she got pregnant and gave birth to twin baby boys. Chidiogo's life was so perfect that she had forgotten that there was anybody named Ebuka. Her mother, Nne, was also very happy for her and thanked God non-stop for blessing her daughter with a good man. Meanwhile, Ebuka, on the other hand, was not finding life rosy at all in Canada. Ebuka was living like a servant in Canada. His wife always used the cops to threaten him. Each time he had a quarrel, his wife Ifoma would give herself marks and bruises and then call 911. And when the police arrived, she would lie to them that it was her husband that had beaten her and inflicted those injuries on her. And then they would whisk Ebuka away. Ebuka had been locked up 5 times already. There were days his wife would even throw his things out of their house and he would have to sleep out in the cold. Ebuka was very frustrated. Sometimes he regretted why he ever married Ifoma. All his expectations had been dashed. Canada, which was supposed to be a land filled with promise and hope for him, had become his land of slavery. Ebuka was always in tears. But it was not just Ebuka that was having a rough time. His mother and sister Amara were not left out either. Madame Gladys, Ebuka's mother, was sick. Her body had rejected Chidiogo's kidney and she was now hospitalized and running out of time. Amara, Ebuka's younger sister too, was also facing her own streak of misfortune. For the past 2 years, it had always been from one heartbreak to the other. She had suitors flocking all around her, quite alright. But as soon as the men proposed to her, they would break up with her the following day. This had happened 5 good times already. Life had become very hard for Amara. She was always crying. Meanwhile, a few months after that, Ebuka was deported from Canada. His wife Ifoma had framed him up for fraud and the Canadian government deported him. He left Canada penniless and without his wife or children. He was now back in Nigeria. He had sold all his property to relocate abroad, so he had nowhere to go. Thus, he had to go back to his mother's house, even though his mother was not at home but was lying in the hospital bed. Ebuka and his family did not know why their once perfect lives had turned upside down overnight. So Amara and Ebuka began to go from one prayer house to the other, seeking help and divine intervention. They did not want their mother to die, and they wanted their fortune to change. Amara was sick and tired of men proposing to her and breaking up with her the following day. Ebuka, on the other hand, could not get a job since he came back to the country. He had been living with his mother and off the money from her pension. But even that was running low because their mother's hospital bills was gulping most of her money. They had even started selling her properties one after the other, just so they could pay her hospital bill. Amara and Ebuka were convinced that their problem was a spiritual one, so they intensified in their search for answers. So after several visits to different prayer houses, the pastors told them the same thing and said, "Mr. Man, I hear a voice crying out against you. It seems like you hurt someone in the past, and even though you thought that you had gone scot-free, you did not. And everything that is happening right now to both you, your mom, and your sister is as a result of what you did to that young lady, and also the role your mother and sisters played. And until you seek for that lady's forgiveness, there is nothing that would get better. Nothing will change. As a matter of fact, your life would even get worse." The pastor said sternly, "Ah, brother, are you sure it is not Chidiogo? Is that why all my suitors are running away from me? And mommy's body is rejecting her kidney? Also, is that why all these bad things are happening to you? Ah, brother, we need to beg Chidiogo. Please, let's beg her. I want to marry, and mommy cannot afford to die. And you cannot continue your life like this. You can't be jobless either." Amara said, looking very scared. Throughout that night, Ebuka sat in his room, lost in thought. He thought about Chidiogo and how good she was to him, all the sacrifices that she had made, and how he treated her very badly in turn. He felt so ashamed of himself. He wished that he had done better. Ah, but where in the world am I supposed to find Chidiogo now? Ebuka said aloud to himself, looking worried. Throughout the night, he tried calling her old line, but her number was not connecting. He even tried calling her friend Chikata, but her number was also not reachable. He tried searching for Chidiogo on Facebook and Instagram and other social media platforms, but couldn't find her. So he slept off that night. Then the following morning, Ebuka went to Chidiogo's mother's house, but discovered that she no longer lived there as she had moved out. Ebuka was very frustrated. He did not know what else to do. Meanwhile, a few weeks later, Madame Gladys' condition had become worse. Madame Gladys, Ebuka's mother, would lay on her hospital bed crying and screaming, Chidiogo, please leave me. I'm sorry for what I did to you, Chidiogo. Madame Gladys would scream out in pain non-stop. She wasn't getting any better. And the doctors were asking for more money for her treatment. So Ebuka had no choice than to sell his mother's house where they lived so that they could raise money for her treatment. So with the money that they realized from the sale of the house, Ebuka rented a very small apartment in a not so highbrow neighborhood and then used the bulk of the money to pay for their mother's medical treatment. Ebuka and his sister became poor, but barely 1 month after they had spent all the money they had realized from the sale of their mother's house on their mother's treatment, Madame Gladys, Ebuka's mother, died. Ebuka and his sister Amara broke down in tears, crying and weeping. They were now poor because their mother's sickness had drained their finances completely. They were now living in an old rickety house. Ebuka was jobless and Amara was busy suffering from one heartbreak or the other. After their mother's death, Ebuka and Amara became very desperate to find Chidiogo. They did not want their lives to end up the same way their mother's life had ended. Yet again, Ebuka went about asking in their old neighborhood if they knew where Chidiogo was, but no one knew. So Ebuka simply resigned to his fate and just prayed fervently to God to please bring Chidiogo his way so that he could ask her to forgive him. So while he prayed, he also started looking for a job. For many weeks, Ebuka could not land any good job. So he started searching for menial jobs. And in no time, he got a job as a driver. On his first day at work, he arrived early, looking all clean and neat, and waiting in the compound. So when his boss came out, he greeted him and said, "Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir." Ebuka said, prostrating, good morning. You are the new driver. Okay, so you'll be driving my wife to wherever she wants. You'll be her driver, and please listen attentively. My wife is my world, so you had better drive carefully when you are carrying my wife. Ade, Ebuka's boss, said authoritatively. I promise you, sir, I will drive very carefully, I swear. Ebuka replied reassuringly, and in a few seconds, an elegant, beautiful lady walked out. Immediately, Ebuka laid his eyes on her. He froze. Am I dreaming? Am I seeing double? Is this not Chidiogo? Ebuka thought within himself. Chidiogo also recognized Ebuka. She just stared at him from head to toe and then entered her car majestically. Throughout the car ride, Ebuka was silent. He was so ashamed of himself. Is Karma dealing with me? A whole me, Ebuka. I am now Chidiogo's driver. Ebuka thought to himself. He looked so ashamed. Everywhere they went, he would carry Chidiogo's handbag in shame. And Chidiogo would turn to him degradingly and say, "Hey you, take me to the mall now." Chidiogo would say, with an air of authority, and Ebuka would just meekly obey and drive her to where she had instructed. Ebuka was so ashamed of himself. He could not wait for the day to end so that he could go back home. At the close of work, Ebuka went back home and throughout the night he wept bitterly. Ah, Ebuka, so this is what my life has turned to. So me, Ebuka, I am now Chidiogo's driver. Hey! Hey! Look at Chidiogo. See how her life turned out differently. She was looking so beautiful. Ah, my Chidiogo. My Chidiogo was looking elegant. And she's married to such a wealthy man who adores her. Ah, see me. Look at my life. My wife made sure I was deported from Canada. My mother is dead. My sister is busy suffering one heartbreak or the other. We are poor, broke, and I'm now a driver. Ebuka said to himself, crying. He told his sister Amara all that had happened that day, and him and Amara both agreed to go and beg Chidiogo the following day so that their lives would stop being miserable. So the following day, Amara and Ebuka got to Chidiogo's house, and immediately Chidiogo came out. They both went on their knees. We are sorry. Please forgive us. Please, Chidiogo, please. Amara and Ebuka both pleaded, tears streaming down her eyes. But to their greatest shock, two police officers were already waiting for them and walked up to Amara and Ebuka and handcuffed them. Then Chidiogo looked at them and said, Ebuka, you and your family defrauded me of my kidney. So until you can give me back my kidney, as in my own kidney, not another kidney, you will rot in jail. Now, get these fools out of my house. Chidiogo screamed angrily. Ebuka and Amara pleaded and cried and wailed, but all their words fell on deaf ears. Ebuka and Amara were thereafter whisked away and locked up in the prison. They remained there for several years. Chidiogo, on the other hand, continued to live happily ever after with her husband and sons. Hi besties, it's your favorite storyteller, Omalicha. Thank you so much for watching my story to the end. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on this one. What do you think? Do you like the karma that happened here? Like, do you like what Chidiogo did to these people that took her kidney? Like, do you think that she should have had mercy? After all, her life was now better off. Everything was going on smoothly for her. Or do you think that it was good that she locked them up until they can produce her exact kidney? Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section. And please support your homegirl, Omalicha, by subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, and sharing it to your loved ones. So now, till I come your way again with more interesting stories, bye!